So my name is Lester. Lead the West Coast business sales operation for Polyvore. Joined about a year ago, and one of the main things that actually drew me to the company was the rich data and analytics capability. It's part of being in ad sales. Half of it is kind of the fun part, and then the other half is trying to prove your case. And I always felt like the analytics piece that Polyvore offered was so rich that it was something that brands couldn't deny. So I'm happy to actually share a lot of this stuff with you today. It's stuff that we obsess about in the office, probably more than the average fashion media publication. And this stuff is really kind of my favorite thing to talk about with clients as well. So the first thing to actually, I guess the first way to describe Polyvore is, since there's so many people in the room, I thought it would be appropriate to actually give a quick intro. Polyvore, when we think about like the fashion industry and the language of fashion, it's obviously extremely visual. It's a visceral experience, it's an emotional experience. I think that's one of the reasons why print publications have stuck around for such a long period of time. It's just a great experience opening up a glossy magazine. And that's something that the online space has tried to replicate for the last decade, but has only started to crack. And I think some of the people in this room are a part of that. So when you look at traditional media, Vogue, InStyle, obviously good representations of fashion publications. One thing that every single style magazine does is the collage mood board. It's something that we actually call a set. It's an expression by the editor that basically says, this is what I think is in style, this is what you should be paying attention to. They could write 1,000 words about what they think is hot for next season, but showing it on one page explains it much better. So this is something that actually is relevant for Polyvore. The whole model is based on Polyvore empowering anybody to become an editor. And so literally, you don't have to know Photoshop, you don't have to have your own blog. First of all, I think blog publications, it's actually pretty tough to start your own fashion blog. A, you have to have a huge closet of clothes. You can't take a picture of yourself wearing the same thing every single day. B, you have to have confidence to be in front of the camera, and C, you probably have to have a boyfriend or partner that actually is a great photographer that takes pictures of you. So it's pretty tough, but then Polyvore is extremely aspirational. We hear stories about how our users use the site. One of our users, she's 38, she's a marketing executive, she's from Canada, so she doesn't have to be in New York in one of these great glass towers. She creates a set every morning sitting while drinking coffee across from her husband who's playing an iPad game. And every single set that she creates has a Chanel piece in it. And it's a personal expression that she shares with thousands of followers on the site. So it's, in a way, her way of having a huge audience to express her style. And Polyvore, so you can kind of see, like this is the basic editor function tool, and then how it renders on the right. And so the main difference that we actually see with what our set is, if you look at the quality of the set, it actually, I personally feel like it rivals the quality of a lot of things in professional magazines. The main differences is that A, it's all user generated. We have, let's say, 250,000 to 350,000 people actually creating sets versus 30 to 50 people in a big building in New York. These people are located around the world, and we have data on every single one of these people. And there's also an interesting social function to it, because once you create something and spend the time to actually do it, you're much more willing to share it to the rest of your audience. So we get actually a tremendous amount of traffic growth and distribution from people creating sets and then sharing it to Facebook. After you've spent 10 minutes showing off how stylish you are, you're going to want to show all your friends and family and kind of show that off. A question that may come up is Pinterest. We've actually gotten a lot of traffic from Pinterest. At one point, we were the fourth most pinned site, which is kind of cool. And so, that number fluctuates a little bit. I think we're trying to figure things out, but it's been a good source of growth, so we're actually pretty happy with that. The other part that's actually really interesting is the commerce piece. We have over 50 million products that are actually categorized on the site. And these 50 million products, we actually pull in from stores, so retail stores, but then also our users go in and clip things, almost like users would pin things. And with everything, like you see this blouse, we can tell you it's green, we can tell you it's drapey, we can tell you all these attributes associated with it. We can also tell you how many people created sets with it, how many people liked it, commented on it, viewed it. So it's a really rich data set. And some of the stuff that we'll show you today is really going to be based on this activity. So you can almost think of Polyvore as basically just a gigantic focus group, like a visual focus group to figure out exactly what's really popular at any given time. Our 250,000 creators, they create about 1.5 to 2 million sets every single month. And each of these sets you can think of as almost like a virtual page in a magazine. And those pages in the magazine actually draw tons of those other followers that they have, people with their personal connections. So we get about 12 to 15 million people coming to the site every single month, and that's grown about 100% year over year. And it's these consumers that are also just as important in us, and for us to figure out how much, like what items are popular. We don't just look at what people are creating with, we actually look at what people are consuming and looking at. And here's the kind of the cool social distribution graph. So this is in January. So you can't really look at exactly how many impressions of your content was on any of these platforms, but we can actually back in and kind of do a rough estimation. You can see we don't have a ton of impressions on Twitter because, like the previous speaker said, Twitter's mostly about quotes, it's not so visual. But then other visual formats like Tumblr, Facebook, and of course Pinterest are actually huge places where our content is actually surfacing. So in January we estimate about 100 million impressions of Polyvore sets appear actually on Pinterest in front of their users. So this is another cool form of distribution. We'd love to dig into this a little bit more and learn a little bit more about how our content's being used outside of Polyvore. But the data that we do really well is the stuff that's actually on polyvore.com. And so, with 12 to 15 million people and tracking every single thing that they're doing, we can actually take a look and tell you how many shoes are looked at, how many times Levi's is looked at. And this is information that we use primarily for our partner brands and advertisers. At one point we actually contemplated packaging up all the data and then selling it, but it got complicated and we just decided to give it away for free to all of our partners. Of course we're happy to speak about it publicly, like in forums like today. So we'll go to Levi's and we can actually tell them, your products get 5 million impressions, these are the top 10 products, and we're always happy to do that. We also have a Polyvore intelligence report, which I hope everybody, feel free to email, I'll give you the email address. We do this every single month. It's almost like a monthly recap of all the top trends, what every single user is looking at. There's a Jason Wu skirt that gets 500,000 views, we can tell you exactly which one it is, all of that, and I'll breeze through that so you can take a look. But then also on the site, you can actually go in and see how popular is Gucci, how popular is H&M or Alexander McQueen. It's a pretty cool, rich analytics, fashion geeky sort of thing to do. I'll just jump into the other piece. So this is fresh today. This is actually not even like a final draft. So this is probably spelling mistakes in here, so apologies. But the data is pretty good. So it's something that we actually put together. I think this edition is about 50 pages long. There's also a print edition that we reserve, or actually mail to about 1,000 people. It's a pretty fun read, and it's really high quality. It costs us a lot of money to actually print out for our clients. But I think this is going automatically, but you can see in product impressions, so this is data for all of April. Our 15 million people on the site, they viewed products 7 billion times. And you can see which ones are the most popular categories. Footwear is always popular, jewelry is always popular. The main reason being that you can always style more than one shoe. Well, you can, sometimes with footwear, they take the same shoe and they show you different angles of the same shoe, but it's harder to do that with the dress. Jewelry, it's easy to have a bangle, an earring, and other several pieces, but it's hard to jam more than one pair of pants into one set. Some of the top trends. So again, if you want a copy of this, I'll give you the email address and we'll make sure that you get on the list. Match sets, denim redux, sail away. These are kind of fun names, but we'll go through it. So you see matching sets is a trend that we've kind of picked up on, and this is based on the number of views, and this is something that's really trending currently. We're at a meeting with Nordstrom last month, and we had a meeting with 4 people from the marketing team. Every single one was wearing this color. So not surprised. I think one was wearing this Interrelic skirt too. So it's a pretty good representation. Top products as well. We also look at some of our most popular users. Sorry. So you can actually see, we actually profile some. So this user has about almost 5,000 followers and millions and millions of views. So she's extremely popular without having to actually put on her own blog. And then we also go ahead and actually show you what people are searching for on the site. So most popular search is high-waisted shorts. High-waisted is really popular right now on the site for whatever reason. It's been popular for the past 4 months. Maxi dresses still, but that's kind of gone down. Combat boots, even though we're approaching summer. So it's just really interesting. Top incoming searches. So this is actually taken from our Google Analytics. So we'll actually show you what people are searching for and how they get to the site. So Isabel Marant sneakers, huge this month. And you'll kind of see this stuff. Anytime Target does a collaboration with Jason Wu or whatever, always #1, Missoni, etc. And then top brands, we actually take a look at that as well. And then top online retailers. So you can see where all of our, the traffic is. The retail sites that are actually pulling imagery from for their sets, which ones are the most popular. And here's the actual email. So just feel free to email intelligencereport@polyvore.com and we'll make sure that you get this edition and then you'll get future editions as well.